Tshwane is still without a mayor, and the chaos in the council continues. A sitting to elect a leader collapsed yesterday after the multi-party coalition staged a walkout. This was after the speaker refused to postpone that vote. The coalition argued that the meeting could not go ahead before 2 terminated councillors are replaced. Lots of drama. The metro is still being led by no one, and ultimately it's residents who suffer. I'm joined now by Dr. Cornè Mulder, who is the spokesperson of the multi-party coalition and FF Plus leader. A very good morning to you, Dr. Mulder. Thank you so much for your time. What is happening in Tshwane?
Yes, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity. I think it's very important that we do get back to normality in the city of Tshwane. The residents of Tshwane are entitled to service delivery, and they're entitled to have a stable government. The tragedy is that the multi-party coalition that consists of 5 political parties do have a majority. They've got a majority of the seats elected in the election of 2021, and we are ready to govern. So at the moment there's some instability, and the instability is directly, the cause of that instability is the fact that there's a very strong attempt, almost like a coup, from the ANC, the EFF and some small parties to try and topple this government. And they are not making it easy for us. Obviously they don't. But it's not to the benefit of anybody there. So yesterday we had that problem, as you correctly pointed out. We are ready to proceed. We've got our candidate. Everybody knows who the candidate is. The coalition parties agreed amongst themselves. And we are ready to proceed with that. But the most important thing, and you'll understand that, if you go into any election, it's absolutely essential to know who are the people that are entitled and eligible to vote. You can't have any questions in that regard, and specifically in a hotly contested situation like this between the multi-party coalition and the ANC.
Dr. Cornè, does everybody understand that we are going into general elections next year? In about a 12 months' time, 13 months' time, we are going into general election. We need to know, as South African citizens, who are we going to vote for? And when we see, a city that has no mayor, that's just essentially running on its own, amok, it becomes difficult for us to know who it is we want to lead us. Does everybody who is in that particular position understand the issues South Africans have?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let me make 2 points, please. The first one is this. It's exactly because of the election coming up next year that we have this instability, because the ANC is bigger with a bigger strategy here. It's all about, on a provincial level, for the ANC to try and keep control of the province of Gauteng. Opinion polls indicate quite clearly that the ANC will lose power in the province of Gauteng. So they are desperate to find measures to try and prevent that. And part of that is to make the province to a certain extent ungovernable by trying to get hold of the metros, all 3 of the metros that they've lost in the election in 2021. So that's why they've had a change in leadership. They've removed the previous premier, and there's now Mr. Lesufi. His clear indication is to get those metros back. So they're doing all kinds of things. These metros have not been allowed to govern since day one. They've tried to undermine this and destabilize, etc., etc. So that on the one hand, and we understand that, is not going to make a difference. The ANC will lose power in Gauteng in 2024, and they will also lose power on a national level where there will be a coalition. So that is what's driving this, and you can see that. That's why suddenly yesterday a demonstration, which it's just following the EFF strategy for that reason. But when it comes to the election, it's a question that we all understand that because of our electoral system, no single party is going to win the elections in 2024. That's not going to happen, not in Gauteng and not on a national level. So we will be forced to form coalitions. And the answer in that is very clearly and simply the following. You must then vote for the party of your choice, knowing for what that party stands, but also knowing that that party would be prepared to form a coalition with other like-minded political parties. And that is exactly what the multi-party coalition is. At the moment, they are those 5 political parties that cooperate. They have basically the same, to a very large extent, a basic platform in terms of, and a program in terms of agreed principles, and that is what we'll take forward. So I've got no doubt, if the officials in the city of Tshwane, if the municipal mayor and other officials do what they need to do, and if the speaker is prepared to do what a speaker is supposed to do, I'm very optimistic that on Wednesday, this meeting is now being postponed until Wednesday, that after Wednesday there will be an elected mayor. It will be Silje Brink from the multi-party coalition. And then shortly after that, we'll bring a motion of no confidence to remove the puppet speaker that was installed by the ANC and the EFF, a party with one councillor in a council of 214. And that person was elected for the simple reason that the ANC and the EFF can't cooperate and vote for each other, so they can vote for a third party, and that's what's happening at the moment. That's why I challenged the ANC, and I still do. They must put up a candidate for mayor on Wednesday. And if they do that, let's see. But they are not. My prediction is they will not be prepared to do so because they know that the EFF will not vote for that candidate. Let's see if the mighty ANC can put up a candidate.
What makes Silje Brink the right man to lead Tshwane? What makes Silje Brink the right man to lead, essentially? Maybe if it even is something that is a thought to lead this province.
Well, I think we're talking about the metros at this stage. When we get to the province, that will once again be a coalition, and depending on the outcome, we will determine who will then be the premier. But that will only happen after the election results are clear. But let me come to the city of Tshwane then. Silje Brink he was put forward by the ANC in discussion with the other coalition partners. After the idea went through their own internal processes and they came to that candidate. There were other people that were also nominated for the position, but they went through their own internal process. The coalition parties then said, we accept that and we support the candidature of Silje Brink. And what one must understand is this. We are mature enough in the multi-party coalition to know that even if not one of our parties have a majority on their own, we have to combine in a coalition. We all understand that the DA is the larger party in this specific coalition, and that's just only right and fair that the mayor candidate should then come from that larger party. And that's exactly my argument, why the opposition candidate should come from the ANC. The ANC is the larger party within that grouping. But suddenly the ANC is not interested in power in the capital, which is amazing, and we all know that's not what it's about. But why Silje Brink? Silje is very good qualified for this job. He was a councillor in the city of Tshwane. He served in the council as a councillor between 2011 and 2016. And after 2016, he served again in the council, but this time in the executive. He was a member of the Mayoral committee. So there's a lot of experience having been a councillor in the city of Tshwane and having been serving in the executive. But after 2019, he was elected to Parliament in Cape Town, and since 2019 he served on the Portfolio Committee dealing with local government. So there's a lot of experience, and he's got the confidence of his party as well as that of the coalition parties. We believe he's the right person for the job, but obviously when he's elected he will put together a team, and that team will be consisting of the coalition parties and the partners in this thing, because we understand how you run a coalition. And we are all ready to govern, and as I say, we will have a mayor after Wednesday, and then we can start to bring stability. And it's up to the ANC to decide and to realize that they have lost and then behave like a loyal opposition, but they find that very difficult.
You know, for the sake of Tshwane residents, we really do hope that come Wednesday there will be some sort of action towards stability. Dr. Cornè Mulder, I'm going to leave it there with you. Thank you so much for joining us here on ENCA this morning. That is the multi-party coalition spokesperson of the city of Tshwane.